Today we're making three different desserts with strawberries. The first being white chocolate macadamia nut cookies with strawberries, strawberry sorbet or strawberry sorbet, however you say it, and then a strawberry pound cake. Stay to the end because that strawberry pound cake is a little surprise at the end. For the white macadamia nut cookies, you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of salt, 3/4 cups of melted butter, a cup of brown sugar, a half cup of sugar, 1 egg yolk, and then 1 egg. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, about a half a cup of strawberries, a half a cup of white macadamia nuts, and a cup of chocolate chips. I use about 3/4 cups of white macadamia nuts because I like the nuts in the cookie. You're gonna bake on 325, but I did flash freeze the dough so that I can have it at in the future. I didn't eat all of the cookies right away. So what you're gonna do is scoop them onto a parchment paper that's on a cookie sheet, put it in the freezer, and then take them and put them in the bag and store it in the freezer. And you can cook it for later. When I bake it, once it's frozen, I bake it at 350 and not 325. I combined the flour, baking soda, and salt in a bowl, set that to the side, and then I beat together the butter, the brown sugar, white sugar, egg yolk, and vanilla. And then I went ahead and added the flour mixture to it, but slowly, not all at once. And then those you can use a mixer for, hand mixer or the stand mixer. But then I added the nuts, the strawberries, and chocolate chips and mixed it with hand, kind of like folded it in and used a mixer so it didn't over mix. With the strawberries, you want to make sure they're drained and not wet because it's going to add moisture to the dough. And if you don't like softer cookie, don't add the strawberries because the strawberries, I'm guessing the moisture from the strawberries when you bake it cause it to be a little softer, but I really enjoyed them. This is a recipe I kind of came up with myself versus like finding one because I couldn't really find a recipe for white macadamia nut cookies with strawberries. This is for the strawberry sorbet. You can actually use the same ingredients and just substitute it with other fruits that you want. But you want to use about a pound of ripe strawberries, half a cup of white sugar, a pinch of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1.5 teaspoons of cold water, and 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Yes, the cornstarch and water is important because it gives it a very silky texture and not like a hard texture. And what you want to do is go ahead and blend up the berries or whatever you have. Put the puree of berries, sugar, and salt in the saucepan and allow it to simmer and let it like kind of melt together. And then you're going to add the cornstarch into that, the cornstarch in cold water, and heat it up. You can see that's what I'm doing here. Then you're going to remove it from the heat. Turn the heat off, and then you're going to add the lemon juice. Allow it to cool. And then you're going to put it in a ice cream mixer if you have one. If you don't, you're going to have to make it by hand, which is what I did here. Pour into a shallow bowl. I poured it in that deli container first, but I end up transferring it here. And you're going to stir it about every 30 minutes until you get to the consistency you want. You see it's getting thicker. 30 minutes, an hour, and then you transfer it to the container you want. Store it. You can eat it right then. But I end up freezing it a little bit, and this was really, really delicious. Now listen, this pound cake, just do what you're used to doing. Don't be trying new stuff because I tried something new. I decided to use some leftover Pam that people left at my house and grease my pan with it, and it did not do what I wanted it to do. I normally grease my pan with butter and flour, old school method, and it works every time. This time I decided, I said, oh, let me use the Pam since they left it over here. I don't want it to go to waste. Bad idea, bad idea. The cake turned out really great, but you'll see what I'm talking about. For the strawberry pound cake, you want about a pint of fresh strawberries, 1 cup of unsalted butter that's room temperature, 3 cups of regular granulated sugar, 5 eggs that's room temperature, 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Make sure you sift that, 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then optional, you can put 2 teaspoons of strawberry extract and a half teaspoon of red food coloring. I did not do either. I didn't add any strawberry extract, and I didn't add the food coloring. I didn't think it was necessary. I don't really care how pink the cake was. I just wanted to have the strawberry flavor. For the glaze, I went ahead and used the glaze from the donuts I made in the other video. You can go check that out. But basically, strawberry puree, some powdered sugar, and whole milk. I had that left over, so that's what I used to top it at the end, which was really good. You're going to bake the cake on 325 for 70 to 80 minutes, or you can stick it with a toothpick to see if it's done. Oh, and with the cookies, I didn't say you're going to bake it at that degrees for about 15 minutes if it's frozen, and if it's not frozen, about 12 minutes. For this cake, you're going to puree the strawberries, and then you're going to heat it to reduce the water out of the strawberries. It's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to do that, and you should have about a half a cup left. You want to beat the butter until it's like white and fluffy, and then slowly add the sugar to it. You're going to then add the eggs after you beat the sugar and butter together. Of course, add the eggs, scrape down the sides and everything, make sure it's good. You want to slowly add the flour, the baking soda, and salt to it. Once you're done mixing all of that, don't overbeat it though, just good enough. And then you want to add the buttermilk, the strawberry puree, vanilla extract, food coloring, and the strawberry extract if you add that. You see, I messed it up big time, but it ate well. It still tastes the same, and the glaze just kind of made it a little prettier. I was going for a rustic pound cake look. After the batter's done, you want to make sure you add the batter to a greased bundt pan and go ahead and put it in the oven and let it bake. When it's done, let it sit for about 10 minutes before you go ahead and flip it. But don't let it sit too long because you don't want the butter to start swelling up and the cake gets stuck.